Good evening, Penny Billington here from the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids. I'm looking forward to sharing a tea with a Druid with you as you begin to tune in. So I'll drink my tea and we'll see who turns up. Hi Jules, Jackie, Red, wonderful. Remember to say where you're from so we get a whole idea of this global community that meets in this magical way every Monday. Usually courtesy of Philip Carr-Gom, of course, but I'm here tonight. Hi, Dean. Oh, Ellie, Mark-Elaine, lots of people. And it's 8 o'clock now. So while other people join and begin to tell us where they're from, I'll just mention that I was thrilled to bits to be asked to do this one tonight because I listened to an article on the radio and it was so exciting. I thought I really want to share those ideas. That's why I've given this Tea with the Druid the title, grandiose title of The Psychology of Happiness and Well-Being. Not something I'm an expert in, but something that I'm very interested in, of course, as all Druids are. I have a chai tonight. Lovely. Quite a few people now, so let's get started. So, I've called this talk the Psychology of Happiness and Well-Being because the professor who gave the original talk, that is his specialist subject. Now, I think a lot about Druidry, a huge amount, but I don't often think about thinking. The science of thinking, the psychology of thinking, the way we do it, and how we can perhaps regulate our thinking in order to have the best possible experiences. This guy's done all the research on that, and his name, if I can remember it, is Daniel Kahneman. Daniel Kahneman. Some of you who are therapists and psychologists have doubtless heard of him. So, with all the other people checking in now and saying good evening and sending friendly messages, what does Daniel say about the psychology of happiness and well-being? Well, the first thing is really simple, and I'm sure it's occurred to most of you, but we have two selves. The one is the experiencing self, and the other is the remembering self. No problem. They should both work together perfectly, shouldn't they? We experience something, we remember it. What could possibly be tricksy about that? Except it really is. And we should know it, because as Druids we say, may memory hold what eye and ear have witnessed. And we sincerely believe that that's what we're doing when we store up our memories. Now, what Daniel found out in his researches is that memory is far trickier than that. We don't store a happy or a sad memory as it has happened to us. What happens is that the memory is governed by an emotional response, and it remembers the last thing, and it remembers it in an emotion-filled way. This means you can have a wonderful, wonderful experience with a bad ending. And of course, the bad ending taints your whole memory, the whole memory of what you've experienced. You can have a brilliant year with a bad ending. And you say, oh, 20, whatever the number of the year is, that was my bad year, because the one bad thing that happened. So your emotional memory is not a true reflector of the experience you have had. What a strange idea that is. It's really worth pondering. If we can't trust our memories to give us good feedback, what can we trust? Well, we can be aware of it, of course. Let's see what else he says. How we feel about our memories does not correspond to the essential aspects of the experience. Now, with Druidry, we're often asked to review things, to review our experiences. And I think, in a way, this is a training ground for trying to marry up the experience and the memory. So that by reviewing and going over an experience from the beginning all the way through in a linear way to the end, we're reminding ourselves perhaps of the truer experience than the emotional tug at the end. It's also interesting if we ever do things for other people, if we make an event for other people, it's worth knowing what they will hold on to. It doesn't have to be a Druid experience. It can be an anniversary party for your parents. What they will remember is the emotional ending. What people that we marry as Druids will remember is how it finishes, as well as key points through the ceremony, of course. So if ever we're doing something for other people, we owe it to them to create a wonderful memory and experience by making sure the ending is great. If you sing a song at an Eisteddfod and you're not too sure about the song, what most of us do is practice and practice and practice the beginning. But everyone will forgive a rough beginning and they'll forget all about it if you have a brilliant ending. So perhaps we ought to just practice the ending of our songs, make sure we can get off with the applause ringing in our head. What else does he say? He asks a very interesting question, this Daniel Kahneman, that it's his ideas I'm thinking about at the moment, and his psychology of happiness and well-being. Because he started doing his research by thinking that the way to make people happy is to give them good experiences. But he changed his mind because he found out that is not what people want. I mean, they'd have to be mad not to want good experiences, but what overrides that is that people want their lives to be a good story. That's the important part. When you look back on your life, it should be a good story. And of course, Druids are very good at this because we think of the whole world in terms of relationship and in terms of story, don't we? I've got quite a nice anecdote about that. I heard years ago, we have an actress, or had an actress, she's died. Her name was Thora Hird, and she's the sort we would say is a national treasure. She's been going on for years. She had a career in television and films from the age of 18 to the age of about 86. And she was brought up at a time when parents did not spoil their children. They didn't praise them. They didn't say, well done. They didn't do anything that might spoil them. That was the upbringing of the day. So she went all through her professional career, and her dad came to see her in a play one night, and he was staying at her flat. And she went up to see him to say goodnight when he was in bed. I suppose he was an elderly man. And she went into his room and said, good night, see you in the morning, Dad. And he said, you know what, Dad? You did really well tonight. I'm really proud of you. Sleep tight, my duck. And of course, this is a true story. The old boy died that night. Now that's a wonderful story because it has a wonderful ending. But I just think, just suppose the man had died the night before and had never said that to his daughter. What would the story of her life and her relationship with her father have been had they not had that synchronicitous moment when he just managed to praise her before he died? It's interesting stuff, isn't it? Plenty to get your teeth into there, but let us remember that when we have experiences and when we have memories, Druids, of course, want the best of both. Now, the experience is in the now. It's me having another gin. I don't drink gin, but never mind. But the memory might be a very bad one because of that extra gin. So Druids tend to balance up the experience and what the memories will be all the way through their lives and through their Druidry. And I think that's a win-win situation. We're certainly going to do a short visualization in a minute where we'll have a little story and try and have a good experience and keep a good memory. I'll just see if there's one more thing I've missed out. Yeah. What makes people happy through experience, he pointed out, obvious to us, but it's worth saying, is primarily social. What makes us happy in our experience is time with people that we love. What makes people satisfied with their lives as a story is whatever they, you and I, mean by success, and by whatever we mean when we say we have a meaningful life. For a lot of us, that will mean a life with a spiritual component, a life that believes in more than the life of the five senses. And certainly, if we do meditation, it means a life that includes all the imaginal inner senses. And that's where we'll go now. If you're ready to, I think there's plenty of ideas to be getting on with, isn't it? So let's see. Oh, someone's saying hello from Stroud, and various other people are still clocking in, as they probably will all the way through this visualization. But for now, I invite you, if you would like to take a wander in the imaginal realms with me, to allow your eyes just to drift down. Close them if you'd like to. To take a breath with the earth beneath us, and the sky above us, and the green sea all around us. That is a magical formula that brings us into balance with the world. The sky, the earth, the sea, all the elements that make us and the environment that we live in. And here's another magical formula for you, as we've been talking about story and making our lives a good story. Let's relax and allow the enchantment of the apparent world to subside as we say the time-honored magical formula of our children. Once upon a time. We allow our senses to open into our own inner grove as we feel the anticipation of the phrase, once upon a time. I and you and you and you, all of us, were and are druids in our inner groves. Our feet are bare and they're walking on the earth or on the grass or wherever our personal grove is. If you don't have a personal grove, find yourself surrounded by trees, with the sky high above you and green grass between your toes. You are in the story of yourself as the Druid. Sit by the fire, a small fire in the centre of the glade. Hold your hands out to the heat and rub the warmth into them. And feel the blood flowing through your veins. And feel your lungs full of air. Your bones echo the bones of the land, and you are a part of the living landscape. And this experience in this story is just in the being there. There is no need to do anything else at all. Gaze at the deep red, the flicker of a blue flame or a purple or an orange flame. The wood slowly crumbling. The fire reflecting the deep fire far below you in the center of the earth. And the great sun high above you in the sky. You sit connecting the earth and the sky, sitting on the earth, breathing the air, tasting the water in your mouth, and perhaps feeling with your hands the dew that's just settling on the grass in the evening, and gazing into the fire. And allow your senses to be filled with those impressions. In this story, you are being given gifts. The gift of the earth beneath your feet. The gift of pure air. The oxygen in this essence of pure air that the grove pours out in its respiration and transpiration. The dampness of the evening that's now descending. Feel it on your skin. And contrast that with the warmth of the fire. And this is the end of your story, in this visualization. You are a Druid. And you are blessed. Blessed with the element of life. All the elements. Blessed with birdsong. Blessed with running water. Blessed with the knowledge that you can store up this memory to look back on, perhaps before you go to sleep tonight. And to feel relaxed and refreshed and strengthened by the elements once again. And as you feel that down into the core of your being, you feel the grove, your awareness of the fire, the greenness, the redness, the dull dusk colours, all beginning to fade like mist on a morning meadow, leaving you just time to whisper thank you as they disappear. And in whichever way you're used to, you come back to an awareness of your body sitting in this chair, in front of this computer, having shared this story with our virtual grove of druids and friends. And when you're ready, wriggle your shoulders, have a stretch, open your eyes and smile at the screen. Ending with a smile is always a very good thing to do. And that's about it for tonight. Someone's just said the video has stuck. I do hope you found most of that. Let's just see. Let's see if we can get it back. I'm going to... yes, it's back. Thank you, Kika. Yes, it's come back. I hope that you managed to have a nice visualization. I hope I haven't left you all in that lovely storybook grove where the leaves are always green and shiny and there's never a thorn to step on. If you haven't come back very happily yet, then please send thanks to the grove and feel yourself, stamp your feet, wriggle yourself and feel yourself well back with us, having had an enjoyable time. Just affirm that that has happened. How ironic that when I talk about the end of a good story, that is the night that the video freezes just as we reach the end. Anyway, we're back in the room now. Before I can go again, I'm going to say thank you very much for